Alright, I've got two exciting things to talk about in this video. Thing one, I'm using my new camera. This is my Canon T5i. And as you may notice, it looks a whole lot better, but it doesn't look perfect because I still don't know how to use this thing. I'm going to have to spend a lot of time experimenting with it. I'd love to be an expert cameraman day one, but I'm not. So if anyone has any experience with Canon DSLR videos, get at me. Let me know what I can do to improve the video. I did buy some softbox lights, which improve things, but like this kind of looks shitty. I don't know, maybe it's something I can do in post, but like I said, I don't know a lot about DSLR shit, so it's going to be a process of learning as I come to grips with this new badass camera. Right now, it's more camera than I can handle. I'm trying to rein that shit in, but I do think this looks better than my cell phone. You can see my hideous disgustingness in full 1080p, which I'm sure you all love. However, one of the biggest flaws with DSLR cameras is the shitty built-in microphone. There's probably shit I could have done to improve the audio in this video, but I didn't do it because I'm a lazy sack of shit. Rest assured, though, that in a few paychecks, I will be getting a pretty high quality mic and a separate audio recorder, because even if you have a high quality mic, there's still some audio hiss when you use the camera itself to record it, from what I've seen in my research. But the main meat of the video, item number two, now that we've discussed a little bit about what you're seeing, is Shenmue, which is why it's going to be a couple checks later until I get my badass microphone. Fucking E3 happened earlier this week. This is Thursday afternoon when I'm recording this. Hopefully this will be up today or tonight or whatever. But out of fucking nowhere in the Sony conference, Yu Suzuki shows up, is like, oh yeah, kickstart Shenmue 3. I'd given up hope. Every year there's rumors about Shenmue 3. Every year, no one's given up hope. It has one of the most organized and passionate fan bases, and anyone that's played Shenmue knows why. I played these games in 2008 or 2009, well after their prime, after sandbox games had become a thing. And I do love older games, so I understand that not everyone's going to be able to jump into Shenmue and appreciate it for what it was. But way back when the Dreamcast came out, there were two games that I wanted a Dreamcast for. And that was Jet Grind Radio and Shenmue. And the level of detail that's reached in Shenmue, I don't think has been surpassed. Games like the Elder Scrolls, Oblivion try to, where they have characters that have their daily routines. Oh god, it's so hot in here. Like, I thought the heat was a problem before, but having all these big-ass lights, whew! Anyway, so now you can see my disgusting, hideous pores oozing sweat as I fucking flap my fold flobs around and scream about video games. Hooray! Anyway, I don't think there's been a game that's matched the level of detail in Shenmue. You can open every drawer, you can knock on every door, and depending on whether or not the resident of that home is home, they will answer, tell you to fuck off, or they'll answer the door. Once you beat the game, the area that the game takes place in, it has the real-time weather for that period. It's like period-accurate weather. It's an insane level of detail. And while the voice acting is bad, it was not the best in 1999, but it definitely wasn't the worst either. Today, however, we're so used to high-quality voice acting in games that we've been spoiled. But I like campy movies and whatnot, so I think it's very charming. There's a Kickstarter for Shenmue 3, so my next two paychecks were all going to camera stuff, because I'm going on my first out-in-the-world filming event in Cleveland next month. There's a video game convention that I went to last year, and I got some video, but ultimately, because of my computer crash, never got around to using it. I may use it in the future, but whatever. So I was going to spend money on getting a shoulder rig for my camera so I can get, stable shots when I'm out and about. And I was going to drop like $220 on a pretty high quality shotgun mic for this thing. And but shit's changed. I've got 31 days to donate to the Kickstarter. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I've wanted Shenmue 3 for a long time. Once I gave up hope, I started telling people not to play Shenmue because of the cliffhanger in Shenmue 2. Yeah, so I'm dropping at least $120 on the Kickstarter. That's the one where you get one of the capsule toys, a physical release, a digital version of the art book, which, as soon as that shit's out, it's going to be all over the internet, so anyone that wants it can get the digital soundtrack and digital bullshit that comes with it. I may drop $160 on the Kickstarter. That gets you some in-game items, and if I'm not mistaken, that it's either, I don't know. But anyway, the Kickstarter was fully funded within about 8 hours, a little more than 8 hours. The $2 million goal is reached. It was the fastest Kickstarter to reach 1 million. Is the fastest Kickstarter to reach 2 million. So the Shenmue fans came out and put their money where their mouth is. However, in the 2 days that have followed, more stretch goals have become available for, there's 3 extra islands and extra mini games. And for that, they need $5 million for the stretch goals. So hopefully on Friday, tomorrow, when it's payday, a lot more Shenmue fans come out of the woodwork and drop their money. I get paid on Tuesdays, so it'll be Tuesday when I drop my 120 to 160 United States American dollar dues on Shenmue 3. But I'm definitely putting my money where my mouth is. It's putting Mondo Cool TV shit on the back burner. I may not have the microphone by the time I go to the Cleveland trip, which I can do without it. I can put up with a little bit of shitty audio. I might be able to fix it in post-production. We'll see what I can do. But shit was a little tight for me, but I'm going to juggle some shit just to make sure that I get my cash into the Kickstarter. Last time I looked, we were at 3.2 million. And the stretch goal for the rapport system, which I believe, that sounds like it'll be like some dating sim shit where you make Shenhua want Ryo's dick, which I don't know why. If you've played Shenmue, Ryo ain't got time for the pussy. He's got a fucking mission. He's got to learn Kung Fu, play Space Harrier, feed cats, take care of orphan kittens. Ryo's got shit to do, but fuck it, we'll see what happens in Shenmue 3. I'm pretty fucking amped about it. I know I don't get a lot of views on the YouTubes, but the 100 or so people that watch my videos, if you have not given to Kickstarter for this classic, $30 gets you a download of the PC or PlayStation version of the game. If you're interested, emulate these on the Dreamcast, pick up a Dreamcast and an Xbox, whatever you gotta do. Check these games out, it may be for you. And if you're interested, let's see if we can get those stretch goals. Now, I believe Sony's involved, and the Kickstarter is mostly just to show how much interest there is in the game. But from what we've seen in the first 2 or 3 days of the Kickstarter, there's an immense amount of interest. But I wanted to do my teeny tiny little part to help Shenmue 3 along. Definitely put my money where my mouth is. Definitely going to drop at least 120 on the Kickstarter. I've never backed a Kickstarter. Probably won't back a Kickstarter again. But to get this Yu Suzuki masterpiece out, I think it's worth it. I'm willing to drop that kind of cheddar on the shit. And hopefully, if I've convinced one other person, or let one person that didn't know somehow, because I almost didn't watch all the E3 shit. If it wasn't for Justin being like, oh, we gotta talk about E3 on the podcast, watch all the E3 shit, I wouldn't have fucking watched it. My girlfriend was watching the Sony conference with me, and I gave her my best Ruby Rod shushing when Shenmue came on. Like, my jaw dropped. I was like, and she's like, what? And I'm like, give me a minute. And I've been talking about Shenmue ever since, much to her detriment, I'm sure. But yeah. Also, the eBay prices of this shit have been skyrocketing. So, because of the vulture mentality of video games on the internet these days, which I thought was amusing. Like, I bought this complete a couple years ago, $15. Bought this at one of the worst filthy reseller scum stores in my area for like $4 complete. You know, honestly, Shenmue 2 is not a bad way. You need to play the game to see all the nooks and crannies and pick up every little bit and bobble in the game to really get the Shenmue experience. But this has a DVD movie of Shenmue that gives you the main points, and then it's got Shenmue 2. I never in a million years would have guessed that I'd be talking about Shenmue 3 being an actual fucking thing. The projected goal is December 2017, so we're looking at 2 or 3 years before this shit even becomes a reality. But I'm willing to put my money behind it. Every time, the fan community has always been like, oh, you know, buy the Rio DLC for all the shit, you know, let Sega know. The capsule toy movement they had a few years ago where they, I mean, at one point, I don't know how many times they did it or when, but I remember at one point they were mailing capsule toys to Sega asking for Shenmue 3. It's such a passionate community, and I feel like a piece of shit for giving up hope on Shenmue 3, but here we are, 2015. We're getting Shenmue 3, thanks to Sony and Kickstarter. Who would have fucking thought?